All right, my name is Ciro Pascasio, and I'm gonna be showing EIGRP. So once you have set up the IPs and turn on the what is it, microboxes, you have to set the name, configure the IP address with netmask, the route gateway to have this configuration right here. Once you have also that going and your router's interface going with IP add, the interface, no exit on each interface, see, then you can test the ping, the resource that there's an intensive GNS Labs, that's EIGRP configuration and verification. Ping gateways. Ping, then goes for the router. We have actually done already. And the route, I was having trouble with this not appearing since I was using the Cisco 7200 instead of 23660s. Now on R1, also these instructions are kind of weird because this is what your section on the router should say, but these are the actual commands and you have to do them on CompTOS. Sure you're in the right interface or the right node configuration. If you put this, it's gonna be empty right now. Wait, to be not in config. We're gonna see it once it's done. Okay, router. Good. And we need to go interface 1 plus internet 1.0 is 1 0, and in there we're gonna put all this configuration. Now whenever you do the show running config section router, that show here, and also show running interface that here now. Now the last thing is we need to configure the section conft. And that last one is actually the output of the actual command show. So we're gonna skip it. If not, it's gonna give you an error, no problem. Okay, we're in config in R1. Yep, okay. Now we do the show running config. Oh, we need to get out actually. Yes, running instruction. Config. But then you have to put down the show running config section E, and that shall appear. Now we do it again real quick. Here you go. And now we go to R2. So we want to configure the router here. In these ways, remember that in this interface we're using a lower bandwidth of 10. It's gonna get chosen by EIGRP. Regular ones. Okay. Now trying to tell you that the configuration exit, then show running. No. I configure the interface f0,/0. Here's where the configuration starts. Now we need to conf D again and configure this last key. And yeah, that's what happened. That's the actual information from this. Run this. Oh yeah, we need to okay, section key. There it is. It's configured. Been telling us that found the neighbor -21 at one. Then after this configured, it's time to check out the EIGRP. We need to make sure that R1 and R2 are neighbors twice, once for each of the two links between them. So let's go to R1 and check out if they're neighbors. R1 show EIGRP neighbors. Second one hasn't actually. This has been the problem I have had for a while, and yeah, I think once I configured it wrong, well, there must be some implicit thing on this configuration that I get it for. So I'm gonna debug it real quick, and then yeah. Check that again. Check that all the configuration was okay. That it's preferring the one that it says. Okay. On the one. Capacity. As of the day before. A bit. During that. Because the interface that we want to keep as backup if one's here in the case of R1, we configure with a bandwidth of 10 kilobytes, which is less preferable than the default volume. 100 reason. Phases. Shutdown interface. F2 0 on R1. Multi. F. EIGRP change state. R1 show IP route. manage. Okay, now it actually went through the other one. No, EIGRP distance metric, fast Ethernet, one common. When the failover happens in this particular case, there's no route recalculation because the feasibility condition is met and EIGRP keeps in its topology table the second successor, which in this case is in the same router but on another link. As you can see on R1, we have both routes in the topology table, but because the route with the next sub 10.10.21.2 has a higher metric than the route with the next sub of 10.10.12.2, only the first next sub is placed in the routing table. EIGRP AS 100 topology entry for 10.10.2.0/24 state is passive. Routing file descriptor is scripture blocks 10.10. Route is internal vector metric. Minimum bandwidth is 10 seconds. Reliability to 5 out of 5. 25 out of 10. MTU is 1500. If we deleted the bandwidth now from either of the routers, we will see that the route will point to the next two next POPs interfaces. Enter configuration commands one per line. In here, literally this one went down. No, this one went down, so interfaces /0 no band with 10 and so I pick out 10 to the 0. EIGRP, that's updated from 21 fast Ethernet ago. Here is 10.21 from the constraint was that only bandwidth could be used in the route cost calculation. By default, bandwidth and delay that are used. You should already know how to check with metrics, which metrics are used for route cost calculation. This is the default. Under EIGRP protocol configuration, you can have these statement metrics, weight, 0, space 1, space 0, space 0, space 0, space 0, meaning that only bandwidth metric will use. Keep in mind that change affects EIGRP in general, and these values must be the same on all routers on the link. Otherwise, you will see these messages. Unfortunately, these messages speak for themselves, so you shouldn't have a problem figuring out how quickly to fix an EIGRP adjacency that doesn't come up when you have this message. Date, wall and beer, neighbor change, EIGRP, 100 neighbor, fast Ethernet, the interface is down, interface received. A value mismatch. EIGRP supports only MD5 authentication and is configured under the interface over which you want to protect EIGRP and reference a keychain. This is how, if any of the interface where EIGRP is running is configured with MD5 authentication, and what is the key configuration. Here. Here we get show the keychain. And the few reasons why EIGRP adjacencies will not be established: wrong AS number, mismatch of the key values, or mismatch in authentication keys. I also found from experience that if your EIGRP project has actually a Cisco 7200 in here instead of 23660, it won't work, because whenever you're trying to set the full duplex, here is the instruction, the duplex auto and speed auto, it won't take those configurations, and it will fail to see its neighbor. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it, and hope you had a good one.